So across the world, as we've said already, tertiary music institutions are under pressure, not just to produce excellent performers and artists, but to prepare musicians for meaningful, sustainable, and ethical lives. And yet, when it comes to health, when it comes to embedding well-being into the fabric of tertiary music education, clear, actionable guidance has been missing. Today, I'm deeply honored to share a framework that seeks to change exactly that. These 7 consensus-based recommendations that I'm going to unveil today are the result of something rare, a truly global, truly transdisciplinary effort, 125 co-authors, 6 continents, over 30 countries, experts from biomedicine, clinical sciences, pedagogy, musicology, psychology, sociology, law, disability studies, and perhaps most importantly, student representatives have come together with one shared goal: to move health from the margins to the very heart of tertiary music education. What if musicianship were no longer measured by perfection, but by courage, by creativity, connection, and sustainability? This recommendation calls for a cultural shift, away from traditions rooted in obedience, emotional suppression, and hyper-competition, and toward experimentation, inclusion, and authenticity. We need institutions that encourage students to consider audience, community, and impact, embrace multiple artistic identities and career pathways, foster collaborations across dance, theater, science, and health, and protect artistic autonomy, not as a luxury, but as a human right. Health is not just mental or physical. It is also cultural, economic, social, and political. This must be reflected in how institutions operate, from their mission statements to their reporting systems. That means grounding policy in equity, dignity, and inclusion, creating safe, accessible channels to report bullying and discrimination, auditing systems for structural inequities, and leading cultural change beyond campus into youth orchestras, funding bodies, and partner organizations. Musicians' health is too complex to be tackled by one discipline alone. Collaboration is not optional, it's essential. Institutions must partner with allied health professionals, physical therapists, audiologists, psychologists, researchers in public health, disability studies, education, and critically, musicians with lived experience, neurodivergent, with disability, and from marginalized communities. Student voices should not be an afterthought. They should be at the table reviewing health provision. And let's be clear, access to affordable, tailored counseling and healthcare is not a bonus. It is a requirement for inclusive education. We cannot ask teachers to support student well-being without preparing them or protecting their own. This means training teachers and staff in inclusive pedagogy and how to support students with disability and neurodivergent, replacing outdated norms like perfectionism and rigid score fidelity with student-centered reflective practices, and recognizing that staff and teachers working under insecure contracts, low pay, and unclear expectations are themselves in compromised health environments. Staff and teacher well-being is student well-being. Students are not just recipients of education, they are its future architects. Let's teach them to challenge assumptions. Let's help them see how hierarchy, ableism, and Eurocentrism shape what is and isn't valued. Let's prepare them to lead in teaching, outreach, socially engaged work, in administration, innovation, and advocacy, inside and beyond the arts. A music degree builds skills for life, not just the concert hall. Well-being should not live in an optional elective. It should be everywhere. That means weaving health into ensemble work, history, theory, and lessons, connecting it to real-world concerns, freelance survival, burnout, injury prevention, using experiential learning and critical reflection, not as add-ons, but as core pedagogical tools. Health is not a separate track. It's the foundation on which artistry is built. A standalone course can act as a lighthouse, illuminating everything from physical and mental health to career literacy, critical thinking, and structural critique. But a warning: if this course exists in isolation without wider institutional support, it risks being tokenistic or worse, undermined. Health education must go beyond teaching coping strategies. It must question ideology. Because if we reduce health to individual resilience, we ignore the structural harm caused by abusive hierarchies, exclusionary traditions, and unrealistic expectations. This is not just a set of recommendations, it's a call to action. It's an invitation to reimagine the purpose of music education in the 21st century. Let us not treat health as a side quest or a box to tick. Let us treat it as a mirror, reflecting who we are, what we value, and what kind of future we are preparing our students to shape. Because the institutions that thrive in the years ahead will not be the ones that cling to the past. They will be the ones that are brave enough to ask difficult questions and bold enough to build something better. With that, I'm delighted to hand over to Julia, who will take us deeper into the role of health education and challenge us to reflect even further on the assumptions that shape how we teach, learn, and care in music. Thank you so much.